Yo, YouTube, it is great to see you. I'm cold this morning. We're chilling. Look, 5.5.0, the full mid-chapter is coming to Dead by Daylight today, actually. And there's a little bit to talk about here. We're going to gloss over it because we've talked about it before. A few things that you should be aware of, though. First and foremost, they say due to increase in file compression, this patch will require a download of almost the entire game. So if you're on PlayStation, Xbox, things like that, your download time, your patch time, it might take a while. The idea here is that once we redo the download, every download for all the patch notes going forward will just be faster, right? So this is just an efficiency. They have to front load the efficiency. I kind of get it. But there are some features, fix some specific vulnerabilities that could be abused by cheaters. Hit feedback has been adjusted to reduce the frequency of visual feedback in the case of a rejected hit. So what they're basically saying here is the amount of times you hit somebody, they dead hard, they scream, but they don't go down. That instance should be reduced. It won't go away completely, but they are working on making it so that we're not seeing these fake hits as often. That's a good thing, right? They add all these things that we've kind of talked about before. We'll gloss over them briefly, but they have new interactions where you can click and hold to work on a generator. You will opt into that in your settings menu. So instead of just holding the button to be on a gen, you can just like click the button, you're on the gen, and then you click it to get off of the gen, or you can hit the sprint button to get off of the gen as well. It's called run to cancel. This is all under the controls menu. You can look at that. So that is now an option. They have the betas feature, which is the betas tab. That is also in your options menu. It's a whole different tab. You'll see it up there. Your controls, audio, betas. With betas, the big thing in betas right now is the wiggle interaction, the skill checks that bounce back and forth. Bing, 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 bing. That will be the biggest thing that you can opt into. And for your first 10 matches, you get a bonus 20,000 blood points for using the betas tab if you opt into it. Now, that being said, it's very important to understand that the betas tab is likely to not affect game balance, right? So going forward, the betas tab is going to be for button changes and things of that nature, things that largely affect the individual, but don't affect anybody else really too much. The other thing is that, so like the Boon nerfs or perk nerfs will not be under the betas tab because everybody, you can't opt in or opt out. Everybody's got to be on the same page with how that stuff functions. So just so we're all aware. On top of that, we have the Lunar New Year, which is starting January 25th. That's today. That'll start at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then Tome 10, which is a Saw Tome. That's going to be really interesting. That starts tomorrow. So be excited for that. That is Wednesday. New voice for Elisa Garland, Legendary. New voice for Sybil Bennett, Legendary Cosmetic. The Cenobite's VO is back. And then they have a slew of changes. Cannibals' masks are gone. Huzzah. And then, yeah, so the perks that have been changed, the biggest ones worth talking about are Boil Over. They increase the wiggle strafe intensity to 100%. They obscure the hook for longer, and you gain 25% wiggle progress when the killer drops from great heights. So if you are playing the PTB, or if you're playing the 5.5.0 mid-chapter, it's probably best to bring Agitation or to be prepped for people to try to run all the way up some stairs or something and then force you to drop down because they'll now get wiggle progress. So be careful about that. Aside from that, Power Struggle and Circle of Healing were both changed respectively. Circle of Healing now does only a 75% bonus. Killer perks, the biggest one right now is actually going to be the Dead Man Switch, which removed the obsession mechanic. So now anytime you hook a survivor, if somebody else gets off of a gen, that gen will lock with Dead Man Switch for 60 seconds. We have a video coming out very soon about how fun that is. Aside from that, there's a slew of bug fixes. Specifically, it looks like they went back and retooled a lot of the nurse. They say several issues affecting the nurse's power that required a large part of the code, especially the networking, was redone. So hopefully this means that we just don't see that many nurse-specific bugs. Specifically, we don't see the same bugs over and over and over. This is huge. If you are a nurse player, be very excited about this. I'm glad they went back and just worked her. I think a lot of people are going to look at this mid-chapter and say, oh, this is not a very big mid-chapter. They didn't do very much. But at the end of the day, when you have to go and completely recode a killer, that's not a low amount of effort to do. You know what you're trying to achieve, but you have to rewrite a lot of it. So that's a big deal. There are some things from PTV that they fixed. You guys can look at that here. Known issues: there is no Haddonfield, no Coldwind Farm, no Crotus Pren Asylum, specifically Father Campbell's Chapel and Fractured Cowshed. Haddonfield and Strode Realty have been disabled. So that to me sort of signals that unfortunately we did not get Haddonfield updated in today's patch. I don't know how long they plan on leaving it disabled. That's strange, but okay. All right. That being said, that's about it for this particular 5.5.0. It's not too crazy. It's not too hefty. It's really just a lot of behind the scenes code changes, right? Making it so that the downloads are smaller, completely recoding the nerfs, recoding things like the hit detection so we don't get as many of those wonky hits, adding the betas tab so that they in the future can just add mechanical changes to buttons and layouts and things like that. It's all a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Less of it is balanced. That does not mean it's not good. I'm pretty okay with it. I won't feel it as much, but I'm happy. It seems like it'll be better going forward. What do you guys think? Of course, check us out on twitch.tv/DyllonKG. We'll be playing this all day. We'll be swiffing. We'll be hanging with you guys. I can't wait to see you guys over there. Unclench your jaw. Be sure you get your water. Got me a little bubbly water today. All right. I'll be praying to the entity to see you guys in the next one.